Welcome to the Ganmain Sports Ground.
So good afternoon, everybody, those viewing the live stream, and welcome those that are going to view the replay through the week and at their own leisure. We're back here this afternoon at the Ganmain Sports Ground, the Den, the home of the Lions. The Lions, as we know, last week they travelled to Mangaplayer over there, and they were able to run away winners in the second half, overpowering the Goannas with a pretty good display of football. It was pretty tight for the first half. So today we thank Baz for the images and the technical setup in the box, and his number one technical assistant, Tammy. Tammy's having a go on the camera today, so we wish Tammy all the best. And our game day commentator, Andrew Corbett. We welcome Andrew. Andrew's got a bit of news of what's happened around the club through the week, and a couple of changes for the Lions. Fantastic winter's afternoon here. The sun's out. We've had rain on Friday. We were desperate for. We've received it, so we're feeling very buoyed. Good afternoon, Andrew.
Thanks very much, Guy. Yes, the ground in great condition for today's game. A good crowd in. Same-day football, juniors and seniors. So there's been plenty of participation between netballers and young footballers today, and we're here to witness this round 8 game. We're all almost halfway through the season already. Time flies, and it's top of the clash. Ganmain, who sits on top of the ladder, against Turvey Park, that sit in 6th position. Turvey Park, of course, winning last year's grand final. They've had an exodus of up to probably 11 players from last year's grand final side. So they've got some younger players out there today. Ganmain had a good victory over at Mangaplayer by 10 goals. Not easy to go to Mangaplayer and come away with a win, but the Lions played very well in the second half, and they've made 2 changes for today's game. Coming into the side is Kirk Mann and Jack Powell, and out of the side is Lucas Hattie and Jethro Peck. So not too much happening there in relation to changes with the Lions, but yeah, expecting a good game early. Turvey Park, very young side, very quick, and so they'll have plenty of enthusiasm in this first half, and as I say, they've been more than competitive in their games this year.
So a bit of inspiration there for the Lions. The Bulldogs bounced the Lions out of the Riverina Football League competition last year, knocking them out of that preliminary final at Robertson Oval. So the Lions might come out and say, well, okay, you guys got the pennant, but this is a new year, new season, halfway through. And, yeah, Lions, what do you reckon, Andrew? They'll be spurred on by that?
Yes, they'll be spurred on by that, Guy. They'll want to continue their, on their winning ways. It's tight at the top between them and Colin Gully, and they would not want to drop a game, try and get that double chance, and they'll be fired up for this one, especially after that loss in last year's preliminary final, which tended to hurt the players for quite a while.
Yes, it did. It had quite an effect. I'm not saying the Lions went over there cocky or anything, but take nothing away from the Bulldogs. They came home in that last quarter with some really good football, and they went on to beat Griffith for the flag, well deserved. So yeah, all in all, we should be gearing up here for a pretty good day. Andrew, you might talk about great news locally through the week with another young fellow with a link to the club being picked up in the draft.
Yeah, young Toby Murray, who's been over plying his trade with the Adelaide Crows in the Sandful, has been picked up by the Crows in the mid-season draft. So congratulations to the Murray family, and to Pat and Helen. That's their 4th grandson to be on an AFL list, so it was a great effort. And Toby lined up yesterday with his brother Nick, who's returned from his ACL injury he copped last year playing for the Adelaide Crows. So Nick's made a great recovery, played very well yesterday, and played against Riley Corbett and Liam Delahunty, 2 other players that have played football for the Ganmain Grong Manong Lions. And West Adelaide were able to win that match in the Sandful yesterday by 20 points. So it was great to see Nick and Toby play together for Adelaide Crows in the Sandful.
Well, that's great, Andrew, that young fellas, that's great inspiration for every young footballer. You know, you can make that level if you persevere and work hard. It's within within your reach, and it's great to see that happen. Just before they come to toss the coin, I'll put up there on the screen our major raffle for the year. We're promoting it heavily every game, so you can grab a ticket in that great RAV4. It'll be drawn at the presentation night of the Lions at the end of in October, 18th of October. So you jump on there, you scan the barcode, and you can grab a ticket. Tickets are selling pretty well, and we're hoping that it'll pick up. The word is that around tax back time, the young people will pick up a few tickets. That'll be a great thing. But it's not restricted to young people. It'll be a great asset for anybody. Even if you had no need for the car, you'd certainly be able to sell it, and that money would be fantastic. So really good as we about to come back to the centre for the bounce of the ball.
Yeah, so Turvey Park's won the toss, Guy. They're kicking to the left of screen, to the dam end, and Ganmain will be kicking to the right, to the road end. Yep.
Well, there's the earlier games, Andrew, it seemed, although the Bulldogs overpowered the Lions in the 17s, but the reserves had a good win over the Bulldogs, and that north end seemed to be the favoured a little bit, Andrew.
Yeah, the ball seemed to be carrying that way well, and as the umpire's about to bounce the ball to start this game, it's Dan Foley and William Voss in the ruck for Turvey Park. As first clearance there almost goes to Turvey Park, cut off by Ganmain there, picked up by Foley, onto Kirkman. He can swing it back around on his right, sends this long into the forward line. Under it is Jack Powell, but he can't take the mark. It's gathered there by Baxter Harmer, and the umpire called for a ball up. Right on the 50 there, Lions way. Foley shoved under the ball there. The ball's on the ground, picked up by Butterfield there for the Lions. Gathered by Warren for Turvey. Back to Dooley, the captain coach of Turvey Park, but he sends one back into the centre of the ground, and it's cut off there by Zach Burhop. He comes wide and finds Matt Hamlin on the wing for the Lions. Had a very good game last week at Mangapla. Sends this one high. Under it is Foley. Front position, punched away by Jed Guthrie. Gathered by Jake Famine, gets a hand pass, but it's picked up by Emery. Out to Warren. Turvey attempt to clear here. Through the hands of Voss. Gathered by Matt Hamlin. Hand pass back inside to Burhop. On to Aaron Proctor. Swings it back to Burhop. Lions controlling play here to Quinn. Across to Sam Martin in front of the broadcasting box. He sends this one low, but it's cut off by Warren there.
Andrew, those big possession getters at Mango last week for the Lions, they've got possessions early again.
Yes, they'll be involved so far as Turvey keeps this in play. Margocius to young Higgins, can kick this down in front of the sheds, and he finds Leary in front of the Turvey Park box. Swings around and plays on quickly. A strong lead from full forward there by Ashcroft, I think it is, and he takes it on his chest in front of Josh Walsh. He's about 55 metres or 50 metres out from goal, and he's going to go back and send it forward.
Yeah, good kick there. He was able to run onto it nice and low. Virtually nothing Josh Walsh could do there legally to defend that. Result, kick on goal, outside. No, he's going to play on around the mark, and now he's handballed off.
Back to Lewington, gives one back to Warren. Been active off half-back there for Turvey. Ball goes inside, almost marked there by Ashcroft again, and the umpire's paid it.
So that brings Turvey a lot closer this time. He's probably going to have to kick from about 45, but with this bit of a breeze over his shoulder, distance should not be a problem. We've got the image right behind it. We'll ride it home.
Young Will Ashcroft played a fair bit of reserves football, but gets his opportunity now. But
he sprayed it.
Kick's gone wide, Guy, yep.
Gone out of bounds over there in the pocket. We'll get a throw in out there in front of the Grain Corp. They've got those sites up at Coolaman, down at Grongrong, Madong. Let's hope the rain continues, Andrew, and we fill those sites.
Yes, certainly do, Guy. Yes, as the umpire throws this one in. Under it is Foley and Margocius, gathered by Ben Walsh there. Hand passes one over the top to Aaron Proctor. Swings around on his left. Goes scoreboard size. Under this is Benulis. Punched forward by Amory. Regathered by Benulis. Makes a tackle on his Turvey Park opponent there, and the ball's held up. Be a throw up there right on the 50. Turvey Park's end. Players will be very careful that they throw the ball back to the umpire today after last week's AFL. Foley taps that down. Pushed forward by the Lions there. Ball's on the ground there. Players dive in on it. And it's wrapped up in a tackle. Held up right in front of the scoreboard.
3.5 minutes gone. No score here at the Lions home ground.
Foley taps that one down. Bunch of players dive onto this. Kick clear there by Mahon. Played on, says the umpires. Bernulis gathers this in, breaks around one, gets a hand pass back inside to Mahon. He can run on here, gets one back inside to Butterfield. Spins around, gets a hand pass forward, looking for Anderson. Back to Powell. Kirkman runs on and marks this right on the 50.
Andrew, I was looking for Tommy Anderson's headgear and he hasn't got it on last week. It was quite handy when they wear something different.
Yes, he was heavily bandaged after that 10 stitches above his eye from the previous week against Griffith. But
now he's taken it in the forward pocket on the left-hand side, but the right side for a right footer.
He'll get the Lions' first shot on goal. Difficult kick. Breeze blowing across him. Kicks on its way.
No, across the face. He went the traditional drop punt because the angle wasn't that too bad. But, yeah, one behind there, the Lions.
Dooley to bring it in for the Bulldogs. Comes wide to the broadcasting box. Under this, Nate Hamlin and Ashcroft. Almost takes a mark there, and a good tackle by Nate Hamlin as he throws his opponent over the sidelines in Warren. And it'll be a throw-in.
Andrew, I think Nate's mum might be might be overseas. Is that right?
Yeah.
Kelly
and
Kylie, sorry.
Kylie and Kelly both together overseas, so they'll be
a couple of eager mums. Be interesting to see how their boys go today. Good supporters, great people around the club.
So free kick to Dan Foley here. Sends this one in for the Lions. Leading out strongly is Bernulis. Takes a good mark. Umpire says play on. Had a good purchase of it. The ball's on the ground there. Players dive in on it. Emery holds this one up. Bernulis and Emery in the ruck. Bernulis grabs this out of the ruck, gets a hand pass over the top to Matt Hamlin. He's held up back inside to Proctor. Kicks this one high on his left, sitting under it is Powell. He takes a mark 45 metres out, straight in front. Can this be the Lions' first score? Or their second score, sorry.
Yep. Well,
already had that point, but can this be their first goal?
Jack Powell will be very keen to put a major on the board for the Lions.
Just missed last week's game with a bit of knee soreness, but back in the side today.
Bit of breeze in his face, but he's a good enough kick to overcome that, I reckon.
Sends it on its way, and it looks good, Guy.
All the way. Goal umpire just moved to the side a little bit, but it's one goal. Jack Powell, one goal to the Lions. Lions 1-1-7. Bulldogs yet to open their account. 6.5 minutes gone here in the first term. So Jack, yeah, he was out last week, you say, Andrew, just a bit of knee soreness. Well, we hope it all goes well for him from now on.
As Warren comes to the bench and young McDevitt comes on, played with Mangapla last year. So Foley and Voss in the ruck. No one wins that decisively, and it's Smith's wrapped up in a tackle there by Mahon. And umpire will call for a ball up.
Beautiful crisp day here for football. Ground nice and soft.
No one wins that ruck. Good wrestle there in the midfield between Foley and Voss. The ball's kicked forward by Turvey, gathered by the Lions, gathered by Butterfield.
Oh, it's on in the centre.
There's a bit happening there between Matt Hamlin and Smith in the centre there. And
umpires will have to stamp this out.
Mahon comes in to stand up for his teammate. Umpire's just trying to break this up. Someone's on the bottom of this pack there, and
umpire will pull a free kick out here in a minute, and that'll make him scatter.
Bit hard to see who it is, Guy.
Yep.
Kirkman, and Smith's on his way. He's going to have a 15-minute break. Yellow card being shown.
Well, you really, you know, with that many umpires on the field nowadays, Andrew, you're silly to think you're going to get away with anything.
Aaron Proctor as well has also got 15 minutes.
Two for a spell. No, Proctor's been rotated, I think. Oh, wait on. None of them.
Yeah, you can bring someone
Yeah.
back on after a yellow card.
Okay.
Not sure if he's been shown the yellow card or someone made the comment that he's been rotated.
Yeah,
but,
well, still a bit of... Well, the Lions have got another yellow card now.
Zach Burhop's coming from the field. So they'll only leave one on the bench for the Lions. That can, if that's the case, if they've had 2 sent.
Umpire's doing a lot of pointing down. The play will start down the Lions' end of the ground. Dan Foley to take a kick, I believe, Andrew.
Yes, Dan Foley to take a kick there. It's an half-forward guy after all that.
He's outside it'll have to kick from outside the 50. He goes for a short pass, and he finds Tommy Benulis.
On a good lead, takes a good, strong mark over his head. He'll go back and have a shot from 30 out.
Yeah, Dan Foley spotted him up. Tommy started the lead, and the kick was, once again, one of those things very hard to defend. Well-weighted kick. He'll come in on that right foot. Well inside his range. He'll only have to kick from 35. Plenty of height in the kick. Players like it before the goal umpire likes it, and the goal umpire gives it the okay.
The Lions second. 11 minutes into the quarter.
Lions 2-1-13. Bulldogs yet to open their account. A bit over 10 minutes gone with a bit of niggle.
As the young Lucas Roberts comes onto the ground for Turvey Park, 16 years of age. Back to the centre of the ground. Voss and Foley in the ruck. Been a pretty good arm wrestle between these two so far. So Foley taps that back, gathered by Dooley there for the Turvey Park Bulldogs, but the umpire calls it back for another ball up. Foley and Voss quite prepared to wrestle each other. Foley picks it up. Smother there on Tom Anderson. And
throw, I think, penalised. Bulldogs have been penalised for a throw, I think, Andrew.
Yeah, looks like it, Guy, and a 50.
Yeah, well, so there's a bit of dissent happening there now, so both coaches will want their players to get on top of that.
Umpires trying to gain their ascendancy on this match.
Yeah, they just want football. They didn't come out here for theatrics.
And Foley about the same position as last time, Guy.
Yes,
when he shot that one into Benulis, but plenty of players back in defence. And he finds Matt Hamlin on this occasion about 35 metres out straight in front.
Well, he was telegraphing, Andrew, that he wasn't confident he was going to make the distance. He was telegraphing the fact that he was looking for a lead. Matt Hamlin gave him one, and the Bulldogs just couldn't match him up. Matt Hamlin will come in and kick from 40. Just veers around the player on the mark a little bit. It'll struggle. No, offline, one behind.
One behind, yep. Emery to bring it back in for Turvey Park. Goes wide there. Finds his teammate, but it's cut off by Jack McKagan. He swings this one back inside quickly and finds Kirk Marn, who'll kick from the same position as Matt Hamlin and Tommy Benulis. Can he make the distance?
Yeah, well, the Lions at the moment, Andrew, with their entries, they seem to have too many. The players are presenting and receiving, so the Bulldogs are going to have to tighten up in defence if that's going to continue.
So Aaron Proctor comes back on the ground. He must not have had a yellow card.
No, it must have been a rotation.
Kirkman kicks this one right to the line, and it's touched there by Josh Ashcroft. Yes.
Touched off the pack.
Another behind for the Lions.
Lions 2-3-15. The Bulldogs yet to open their account. Nearly 13 minutes gone. First term.
Dooley brings it in for Turvey once again. Finds Harmer. Baxter, that is, for Turvey. Gathered by Stapleton. Kicked high.
Downfield kick. I think, Andrea, the bump was a little bit late. I think we'd all agree on that. They're onto that nowadays. He'll take a kick out there wide on the wing on the eastern side in front of the Coolum and Steelworks logo.
Goes to come inside, finds Warren. He's had a bit of the ball so far for the Turvey Park Bulldogs. Boy that's come up from Melbourne, from the amateurs. Goes wide, finds Dooley on that far wing. Chips another one low and short. It's cut off there by the Lions in Tom Anderson. The ball rolls forward for Turvey. Gathered there by Dan Foley. Gets a hand pass forward to Kirk Mann at his feet. Gives one over the top to Jackson Conley-White. Another hand pass on to Tom Anderson. Swings on his left. Kicks this one into centre forward. Good use of the body there by Emery though. And he pushes Jack McKeag under the ball. Takes a mark. Looks to switch here for Turvey. Comes towards the shed side. A race of the ball here from Nate Hamlin. Gathers it at his toes. Does well. Hand passes over the top to Jake Sullivan. Can send this one along looking for Bernulis. But it's cut off by their Harmer. Back to Ashcroft. Back to Emery. Good smother there by Matt Hamlin. And forces this one over the sideline in the pocket.
Just a bit unfortunate it beat Matt over the line there, but the Lions will be looking to trap it in here as we get a throw in front of the Riv Hotel. Popular spot when the Lions play in Wagga and out at Mango. Get a good crowd back there, and they were buoyed there last Sunday night, I believe, Andrew.
Yes, a good roll-up Sunday night, Guy. Bernulis and Emery in the ruck. Emery taps it out back, gathered by Proctor, gets a kick forward to Jack McKeag, kicks this one over his shoulder, has a go at it, and it's through for a behind, just to the left of the goalpost.
Always lurking, Jack McKeag.
Yes, he's Lions' best player last week. Picked up 3 goals for the game. He's so underrated. Turvey bring this inside through Lewington. Find young Roberts. Chips one, but the ball's going to fall short. Gathered by Dooley. Hand passes one over the top and it's out of bounds. Umpire will throw it in.
Almost a nightmare player for anyone to pick up Jack McKeag, Andrew, when teams are selected and when the opposition says, well, you're picking up number 14, Jack McKeag. Probably wake up in the night and think, well, that's a job.
Yeah, he's been in very good form. Works very hard, Jack, with his fitness. Foley with front position. Gathered by Dooley there. Goes back to Cunningham, but he tackles Tommy Anderson high.
Looking to move it on quick, he does.
Goes inside, ball's on the ground there, gathered by Tom Sussay, goes back. Ball's a bit of a fumble here, gathered by his brother Jack. One out the back to Ben Walsh, but that's gathered by Turvey there. They send this one in quickly to the goals, but it's
out on the full, I believe, Andrew.
Out on the full. That was young Jag Ashcroft in his second game of senior football.
Umpire wants Josh Walsh to come back and take it again.
Now he chips one cross goals to Seb Hamlin. Goes long and low and finds Tom Sussay at centre-half back. Sam Martin runs off the handball onto Jack Sussay. The Lions push down that far wing. Looking for Jack McKeag. Emery cuts this one off. Regathers. Kicks one high on his right foot. Sitting under this is Sam Martin. Almost takes the mark. Gathered by Turvey there. He was caught high. Turvey looked to come back inside again. Low and left foot there, but it's cut off by Ben Walsh. At centre-half back there for the Lions. A low diving mark. Switches it across to the clubhouse side. Finds Tom Anderson. He's been prominent early. On to Jack Powell. Chips one over the top looking for Seb Hamlin. Finds him there in the half-forward flank for the Lions. The Lions half-back flank. He chips one low and finds Bernulis. Hand passes on to a running Seb Hamlin there. Kicks up the wing in front of the box and the ball's taken over the sideline. No, it's kept in play by Jenkins there. Kicks this one high. Sitting under this is Powell and Stapleton. Powell gathers it. He's wrapped on a tackle by Stapleton. Picked up by Walsh. Can't get his hand pass out. And the ball's over the sideline.
We'll have a ball in there in front of the Choices Flooring. Well, it'll be between the two good sponsors there, the Choices Flooring and the Gammane Pharmacy. So you've got your floor covering and you've got your pharmacy goods from Tin down there in Ford Street, Gammane.
Foley and Voss in the ruck. The ball's on the ground there, gathered by Leary. He can't get his kick away. Picked up by Powell. Gets one back into the centre of the ground there. Good tackle there by Nate Hamlin, but it's out the back to Dooley. He'll have a running shot at goal here for Turvey. The ball's going to fall short. Bounces over the top there. into the hands of Seb Hamlin. He's tackled high, but the umpire says, give it to me. There's going to be a ball up just to the side of the square there. Turvey Park's end. Can this be their first score?
They'll be desperate, Andrew, to get one on.
Foley gathers it out of the ruck, but he's wrapped up in a tackle, and the umpire puts the whistle to the mouth, but it's kicked out on the full.
So this will give the Turvey Park side, the Bulldogs side here. He's got a shot on goal. Is he looking to give it off, Andrew, or is he a bit confident? No,
he's going to kick around the corner,
yep.
Guy.
Well, he's got the breeze. If he can get the technique right, the breeze will help that kick. You've got a good view of it here. He'll probably give it plenty of air time. As he comes in, bangs it on that right foot. He's overdone it. It's
made the distance.
Yeah.
Young Harry Stapleton. That's Turvey Park's first score of the game.
Lions 2-4-16. The Bulldogs on the scoreboard now with one single solitary behind. Nearly 20 minutes gone, first term.
Sam Martin looks to bring this back in for the Lions. He's coming to the shed side. Kicks this one high, sitting under his Bernulis, but it's a good strong mark to Josh Walsh from behind. Returning from that ankle injury from played last week. Finds Aaron Proctor, but he can't hold the mark. Bloomington dives on the ball there. Players in on top of this one there, and umpire call for a ball up.
They've all jumped on that one like a Melbourne tram, and no one's paid, Andrew.
No, they all piled in. Jenkins and Bernulis in the ruck now. Bernulis taps this one forward, looking for power. He gathers, gets his hand passed on to Sussay. Tom, that is, on to Kirkman, on to Bernulis. He can send this one into the forward line. Over the back is Matt Hamlin. Shoves his opponent out of the way. Gathered by Jake Sullivan there, but it's cut off by Emery in the goal square. He goes to the far side. He's got a running Joel Peters on that far side. Takes the mark and passes inside to young Roberts. Gets his hand pass smothered to the feet of Roberts, and main opponent there's wrapped up in a strong tackle by those two. And the umpire call for a ball up.
Yeah, no prior opportunity. The umpire decrees out there, and he goes out to ball it up. Dying minutes of the first term.
Bernulis and Jenkins in the ruck. Bernulis taps it down, gathered by Turvey. Duck back inside. Kick to the centre half forward there, gathered by Higgins. Gets a hand pass back to Warren, has a running shot at goal, and this is the first goal for the Turvey Park Bulldogs. Goes to Warren. Goes to Margocious. First goal to Margocious for the Turvey Park Bulldogs.
Lions 2-4-16, Bulldogs 1-1-7. I might have misled you a little bit there. The quarter will go probably a little bit longer because we had that bit of time off for the while the yellow cards were being distributed. So there's plenty of time yet. The Bulldogs can make use of this this breeze to the northern end, and that's probably their best foray they've had. As the ball comes back to the centre.
Foley and Voss in the ruck. Foley taps that down to Proctor, but he can't gather it there. It's a little bit greasy in the centre there. Wraps up Dooley in a tackle. The ball spills out the back to Leary. Swings wide, looking for Higgins, but just eludes him. Chaseable ball there by Sam Martin. He gathers it in front of the scoreboard. Looks to come back inside. A risky kick, but finds Proctor.
Reliable man.
Lions just steadying up here late in the quarter. Game hasn't reached any great heights in this first quarter. Nate Hamlin kicks it on to Dan Foley. Chips another one looking for Matt Hamlin. Finds him there. 60 metres from goal. Plays on quickly. And the ball's gathered by Tom Sussay. Kicks one high. Shot at goal. Punched forward by Turvey Park there into the arms of Butterfield. Gets one out the back to Conley there for the Lions. Does a banana kick forward for goal, but it's all Turvey here. Two crash into each other in Guthrie and Baxter. Baxter grubs one forward there. Gathered by Turvey Park in Peters there. He looks to chips wide in front of the broadcasting box. Charging through is Ashcroft, but the ball's pushed out over the sideline. It'll be a throw-in.
It was accidental, that trip, even though it did look like a trip, but just legs involved. We wait for the umpire to ball in. It's right just here below the commentary box.
Ball thrown high. Foley and Voss gathered by Leary. Out the back to Jones. Kicks this one high. Under this is Ben Walsh. Good use of the body there by Tom Quinn to shield his opponent out of that contest. It comes inside to Jake Fairman. Can chip one over the top. Wide. Finds Nate Hamlin on that far wing. Comes back inside. Finds Powell. The centre of the ground. Lions will need to move this quickly before the end of this quarter. He's got Proctor. Takes a good low diving mark, but he's still 55 metres from goal. Chips one over the top to Kirkman. He'll have to kick this from 50.
I can't see the next lead, Andrew. Kirkman goes back and it'll test him, I think, because he's going to have to kick from right on the 50, isn't he?
Yeah, right on the 50. They
Bit of a breeze in his face.
most of their shots at goal this quarter have been on this 50. They need to find a target a little bit closer to goal as he sends this one its way.
Ball's held up. Good strong mark to Tom Bernulis. Eyes on it all the way. He probably almost anticipated that the ball would be held up a little bit. This just should be a bread and butter goal for Tom Bernulis. Right, now we've got the siren. That pressure won't worry Tom Bernulis. He'll be up to it. Comes in, he'll kick it from 15. Goal of the Lions. Finish the quarter.
That's Bernulis' second goal for the quarter.
Another strong start from Tom Bernulis. Big possession getter for the Lions, Andrew. Lions 3-4-22. Bulldogs 1 goal, 1-7 here at the quarter time interval at the Gammain Sports Ground. Well, once again, Andrew, those big possession getters from last week in the game. Plus, Jack Powell's come back and he's making his presence felt.
Yeah, no, that's a good start there from Jack Powell and Tommy Anderson, Bernulis. The Lions just sort of feeling their way. You sort of get the impression that they could have done more that quarter, Guy. But
yeah, had the ball in the 50 a lot, but as you said, they were having shots from right on the distance, particularly with it being into the breeze. They might, let's see what happens next quarter. We'll have a drink and a break. We'll catch you then.
Amazing service and carefully sourced homewares and furniture. Fisher and Farmer.
Coolaman Butchery, a great place to meet up. Yummy, yum, yum.
So we come back here for the start of the second quarter now. The breeze is not dropping, Andrew, but the Lions will have the breeze at their back.
yeah, they have the benefit of this breeze this quarter. Doesn't seem to be too many changes to either side lining up in this second quarter. A bit of a score from the game up between Coolaman and Mangapla. Quarter time, Mangapla 18, Coolaman 13. Close one up there as well. So Foley and Voss in the ruck. Foley taps this down with benefit the front position. Voss is grabbed up in a tackle there. The umpire says, call it to me. I'll throw it up.
Yeah, well, let's hope that the Turvey might have been a little bit sucked in with that niggle, and there's a little bit of back chat to the umpire. Although I think both sides suffered from that little bit, Andrew. We need them to get on with that, get on with the play. I'm sure that was a message from Sam Martin. We want to play.
Foley taps this down into the path of Proctor there, but players dive in on top of this one again. It's going to be another ball up. Foley gains front position, but he's shoved under the ball there by Voss. Comes out the back there. No one can pick it up. Kicked off the ground there by Turvey Park. Voss tries to pick this up. Gets one out the back to Lewington. Comes wide looking for Jones. Sends this one in low. It's not a great kick. It's into the path of Nate Hamlin. Gathered by Matt Hamlin. Back to Kirkman. Goes wide. Does Matt Hamlin to Ben Walsh. Kicks long to a running Zach Burhop. He can run down that far wing. Takes one bounce. Can send this in forward to the lines. Under this is Bernulis. It's gone out the back. Almost marked by Powell. As Butterfield swings around on his right.
Might have hit the post, did it?
And hits the post.
Yeah.
Knocks the flags out of the post. And it's a behind for the Lions. Lewington to bring this in for the Bulldogs. He's looking for Harmer wide. It's a good pass. Finds him in front of his opponent, Fairman, on the 50. Chips one over the top and finds Roberts. Turvey looking to control this one out of defence. They don't want to turn it over. But it's cut off here by Mann. It's on the ground. He dives on it. Charging through is Dooley. He can't pick it up. Gathered by Mann. Back into Matt Hamlin. As Dan Foley gathers that one off his toes. Back to Ben Walsh. Inside to Tom Anderson. He's tripped.
Yeah, there's a...
And umpire will ball this up. Give a water free kick. Play on it's been. Going to call this back. But play's continued on. It's going to have to come all the way back.
Well, the players are not... The umpires on that side of the ground are not up with it. I think he's reversed it against Dan Foley, Andrew, has he? Yep.
Dan didn't need to come in and remonstrate there. We had the free kick.
No,
Just an accidental trip.
You won't change the umpire's opinion, Dan. There'll be another 50 if you don't shush.
So Jenkins to take the kick in front of the club rooms. Chips one wide, looking for Smith. He's back on the ground. Plays on quickly, though. Looking for teammate in the forward line, but it's gathered by Ben Walsh there. Takes a mark, switches it to Burhop. He looks to come back inside. It's a low kick to Tom Quinn. He gathers, hair passes one over the top to Jack McKegg. Stretches and grabs it at his toes. Kicks forward and finds Butterfield just shy of centre forward. Quickly plays on, but it's down the throat of Smith there for Turvey. One out the back to Roberts. Young Roberts comes wide. It's gone off the side of his boot there. And Stapleton's gathered in, but Anderson's made a good tackle, and they're over the sideline in front of the Turvey Park bench.
Probably the best result there for the young guy from Turvey because he was lacking support. They were able to set themselves in the ruck and regroup.
Foley and Voss, been a real wrestle, both ruckmen holding onto each other. Foley pushes that one forward into the path of Matt Hamlin. He takes one bounce, surges towards goal, kicks this one high under it as Benulis. Goes through his hands, charging through as Butterfield, crumbs well and kicks a goal. Good crumbing play there by Shannon Butterfield.
Yeah, plenty of possessions in the last few weeks too, Andrew.
Yeah, one of the Lions' best at Mangapla. Really improved his football.
Knows where to be in that pack situation. Streamed onto it into an open goal. Northern end. Lions 4-5, 29. Bulldogs 1-1-7. 4.5 minutes gone here in the second terms. We wait for the ball. We got come back from that northern end. We got good sponsors down there. Elders Wagga, Alan Harris McDonald, John Banson's son. Unfortunately, they were here early in the week performing another funeral. Keep saying it, we've got to get a break from those funerals.
Foley and Voss in the ruck. Ball tapped down by Foley there, but it's picked up by Dooley. Gets one out the back, looking for McDevitt. Here he gathers, pushes that one forward. Hand pass. Tussle here between Hamlin and his Turvey Park opponent. He's copped one high as players remonstrate again, and it's our man Smith involved once more. Umpire's going to call it back.
Players not appreciating the head-high stuff, Andrew. I suppose fair enough.
Just senior players coming in to support their young fellas.
Yep.
As Hamlin gets the kick now, goes wide and finds Sam Martin. Comes inside and finds Tom Quinn. Switches around his opponent. Kicks one long into the forward line. The ball's gone over the back, though. Race for the ball here by Jed Guthrie. Tom Sussay bundles him over the sideline, and it'll be a throw-in.
Yeah, well, that head space, it needs to be protected for a reason. So,
bit of push and shove going, a bit of feeling coming into this game.
Yeah, well, let's see if the Lions can capitalise on that while they've got it down there. That might take the push and shove out of it, pile a few goals on.
Benulis takes this out of the ruck, but gathered by Tom Sussay, kicks this forward, but it's into the arms of Peters there, or McDevitt it is there for Turvey. He goes wide, looking for Emery. Emery marks it on that half back flank, but his kick falls short, looking for Lewington. He's pressured there, back to Emery, kicks one forward, finds young Higgins there in front of the scoreboard. You go back and take his kick. He was looking to pass it on. Kicks long and low, but cut off by Dan Foley there at centre half back. He charges through. No, beg your pardon, and sends this long looking for Bernulis. It had the positioning there on Ashcroft. He had the back position and used his body well and takes a mark.
Well, that's not the first time it's been delivered by Dan Foley, Andrew. Dan Foley broke free of the tackler and he kicked that ball, gave it enough to clear his turvy opponent. Tom Bernulis, as you said, just held he didn't really over bump his opponent, but he just held his ground. The ball carried. Result, we're looking at Tom Bernulis lining up for another major.
Has he squeezed it in?
I think he
looks
has.
like it, Guy.
I think he'll be right. Yep.
That's Bernulis' third.
A little bit deceptive, but it probably wandered after it went through the goal, so it's definitely a... Well, as Pat Quinn said all those years ago, Andrew, if they thought the goal umpires would be best on the boundary, this is where they'd have them. So the goal umpire had a great view of that and watched it over. Result, Lions 5-5-35, Bulldogs 1-1-7. 8 minutes gone now in the second terms. We wait for the ball to come back to the centre. A little bit ominous now for the Bulldogs, Andrew.
Yes, the Lions, kicked the first 2 goals of this second quarter, and
Yet they can play better.
ball hasn't gone into the Turvey Park forward line too much in this first 10 minutes. There's another clearance here for the Lions. Familiar there, Foley to Matt Hamlin. Ball's on the ground in the forward line there. Cut off by Ashcroft. That's Josh as he goes wide. Race for the ball here between Nate Hamlin. Makes a tackle on his Turvey Park opponent. The ball's kicked forward there by Gan Main, and it's into the pocket there. It's just out over the sidelines. It'll be a throw in.
We'll have a throw in out there in front of the sports club sign there. Players will get up to the sports club there after the game and have a refreshment and a meal and get the awards.
Emery taps this one down to Lewington. Out the back to Roberts. Hand passes one over the top to Higgins. And Lewington's wrapped up in a good tackle there, and he's deemed to be caught with the ball. So good tackle there by Matt Hamlin.
Yeah, no surprise. Matt Hamlin racking up those possessions again.
Dooley it was on that occasion. He sends this one in high. Back position is Bernulis. Goes through his hands. Gathered by Guthrie for the Turvey Park Bulldogs. Nate Hamlin picks this one up in the pocket. Back to Tom Sussay. Gets one back inside to Bernulis. Swings around on his right, but he's kicked this one out in the full to the left side.
Overdone it a little bit there, and result will be the Bulldogs will be able to kick it in there right in front of the Alan Harris McDonald.
Young Roberts to bring this in.
I think he might have done the same, Andrew. He sprayed it out over the boundary.
He's just made a couple of skill errors, blunders there, the young fella. He's playing well, but his execution's let him down on a couple of occasions as Burhop looks to bring this back in for the Lions. He does I don't know what they call that one, but it was inside-out torp, and he finds a lucky Tom Sussay who marks that low to the ground.
It looked like a spinning top in the air.
I think they call it a shanana or something in AFL terms. It's not the kick you'd probably want to use in that position, but anyway, it was effective.
It came off in that situation. Result, we'll watch Tom Sussay right behind him. We'll watch him come in and take this. Very deliberate, over the ball. You've seen it all the way. You've
straight through the middle.
Yep. Just looking a little bit looking for another word, but looking a little bit ominous, Andrew, for the Bulldogs here.
Yes, they need to stem this flow from the Lions.
Lions 6-5-41, Bulldogs 1-1-7, 11 minutes gone.
Need to tighten up in that centre area there. Lions have been able to take it out of the centre a few times in this second quarter.
Yeah, that combination of Dan Foley and Matt Hamlin taking it out of the centre. Both in good form.
Foley and Jenkins in the ruck. Turvey playing with a loose man in defence as the ball's cleared once again by the Lions, gathered by Jack McKegg, and Tom Anderson's tackled there without possession of the ball. And
a late-ish, well, it wasn't a sling, but it was, well, a little bit sling and a little bit late. Once again, the Lions letting the Bulldogs know that's not appreciated.
He'll go back and have a shot. He's going to have to kick this from 50, Guy.
Yeah, well, we're watching the flags on the scoreboard. He'll get a bit of help from that breeze. It's right behind him. Oh, he's given it plenty. Goal umpire. Yep, it's a goal.
It's a very good kick by Tom Anderson.
Yep. Lions 7-5-47. Bulldogs 1-1-7. Bulldogs can't afford to be giving away those free kicks. So around that area for the Lions, Andrew, they'll make you pay there. Just a bit aggressive in the tackle, and the tackle a little bit late. So
Cam Dooley there talking to his troops, trying to work out a system there to try and counteract this Lions' dominance here out of the centre. Jenkins comes into the ruck against Foley, but Foley taps this one forward. Leary dives on the ball, gathered by Margocious. It's the Bulldogs attempt to push this one forward, but it's kicked off the ground there by Burhop. Race for the ball here by Shannon Butterfield. Ball gathered by Seb Hamlin. Swings around on his left, looking for Jake Sullivan, and finds him there just inside the sidelines. He swings around on his right. Kicks low, looking for Bernulis. Good football, Lions, and he marks it on his chest. Well, 30 metres out from goal.
Well, plenty of confidence there, and the two young fellas in the lead up to that, Andrew. Confidence to kick, lead, mark, look for Tom Bernulis, and he'll kick well within range. Andrew put it fairly simple. Good football. As Tom Bernulis comes in, we're not quite right behind him, but he'll kick from 45. A lot of air in the kick, but a terrific kick straight over the goal umpire's head.
That's his fourth for the game.
Lions 8-5, 53. Bulldogs 1-1-7. We're only halfway through the quarter here. Damaging quarter for the Lions. Bulldogs will be searching for something to try and, let alone score. They've got to stem, Andrew. They've got to stem the flow.
Yes, they're just finding it a little bit difficult to get it into their forward line at the moment.
Well, Lions just too strong across the centre.
When they come out of defence, they're just getting pressured there and turning it over, and Lions sending it back in.
Lions have hit a purple patch here in the second quarter.
Foley and Jenkins in the ruck. Foley been dominant early. Thumps this one forward into the path of Kirkman. He can't gather it. Picked up by Jenkins. Back to Smith. Can kick this one wide. It's on the ground there in front of Peters and Burhop, but gathered by Burhop. Front of the scoreboard. Kicks this long. Finds Jake Hamlin. Downfield, calls the umpire.
Another late.
Jake Sullivan's marked it, Guy. Yep.
Oh, okay. Was it a mark or indiscretion?
Oh, it was downfield.
Yeah, late tackle. Umpire's not going to put up with it. Not sure what he's... Well, it's downfield again, Andrew. So there's...
Yes, he's... it's going...
So that must be back chat from the Bulldogs.
So Jake Sullivan, it is, will have a shot on goal. He's only 20 metres out on a 45-degree angle.
So we've gone from a Lions possession out on the wing on the eastern side, a kick, a free kick and a 50, and that'll should result in a goal.
And it does. Goal to Jake Sullivan.
Well, whatever else the Bulldogs do here today, they've got to get on top of that that situation, and because we know that umpire's not going to tolerate any back chat. We've seen that across the seasons, nor should they. And that's about, what, 3 late tackles, Andrew, that's resulted in frees.
It's just a bit of ill discipline creeping into Turvey's game, and we seen it last week with the Mango Gamone game where it was pretty even contest, and few mistakes by Mango there, and the Lions were
the same thing
away.
In that third quarter last week, Andrew. The umpires weren't going to tolerate any of that, and they didn't.
So Foley down to Proctor. He swings wide, kicks this out towards the scoreboard side. Under this is Jack McKegan, Guthrie for Turvey, and it's out over the sidelines. It'll be a throw in.
We'll get a throw in out there in front of the Nutrien. Of course, we've got James Croker that services most of the Nutrien clients in this area. Great bloke, James.
Ball thrown in. Foley and Jenkins charging through as Dooley. Gets a kick forward there, high. Umpire deemed a late pressure there by Jack McKeag.
One goes against the Lions this time. We don't mind that. They're paying it both ways.
As Voss plays on quickly, kicks this high, sitting under is Josh Walsh. Judges the better of Ashcroft, and he takes the mark. It goes back whence it came, out wide to Jackson Connolly. Marks on that far wing. Kicks one forward there to Dan Foley in front of the scoreboard. He can kick this long and low, looking for Bernulis. Can't mark that one. It's gathered by Matt Hamlin. He's wrapped up in a tackle, and the umpires caught him caught with the ball. Good tackle by Cunningham there. It's going to Smith. He'll take the kick. Goes to chip wide here, looking for Stapleton. He marks the ball in front of the Turvey's box. Finds Roberts there. Turvey trying to control this and work it down the field, but it's cut off once again by the Lions. Ben Walsh onto Jake Fairman. Surges into the forward line. Kicks long to an open square, and it's through for a behind.
He shows a clean pair of heels, Andrew, when he grabs the ball.
He's got a lot of toe about him. When he gets wound up, he can run. Lions just peppering the goals here late in this second term.
Lions now 9-6-60. Bulldogs 1-1-7. 18.5 gone.
Cunningham to bring this in for Turvey. Looking for Emery. Good spoil there by Martin. Ball comes back inside the forward line, but it's cut off there by Stapleton for Turvey. Lewington comes off the bench. He's a recipient of this one. Takes a mark in front of the Turvey bench. On to Harmer. Ball on the ground there. Coming through is Jack Sussay, and the ball is over the sidelines.
We'll have a throw up here. Down, we've got a little bit of shade encroaching on the ground. Right below the commentary box, the rucks will come together. Players suck in the breaths as we stream towards half-time. Been a big quarter for the Lions.
Foley in front. Charging through is Mahon. Gathers this one almost. Kicks it forward, and it's out over the sideline, and the umpire deems to be deliberate, so it's a free kick to Turvey to be taken by Lewington.
Got good vision there in front of the round. He's going to kick in front of the regional hydraulics, that being Jason Hamlin, the proprietor of that business.
Umpires,
and a 50 against the Lions this time. He wouldn't come back off the mark over the mark, Andrew.
It looked like that guy. It was just a little bit hard.
Umpire was calling him back. He wouldn't come.
There's a ball spilt through as it goes forward. Gathered by Powell onto Walsh. Ben, that is. Seb Hamlin slips over. Back to Ben Walsh. Can go wide to Jack Sussay. Lions surging off half-back. Kicks wide, looking for Matt Hamlin. It's out in front of him. Race for the ball between him and Cunningham. Cunningham does better. Gets one back inside to Smith, that is. Back to Cunningham. Ball dropped there by Peters. Gathered by Burhop. Back over the top there to Jack Sussay. He can steady. Comes inside. Finds Proctor. Numbers here by the Lions. On to Burhop. Can send this in long. Seb Hamlin's under this one. It goes over his head. Goes over Ashcroft's head, and it's out over the sideline.
We had to throw in out there, down there, right in front of the Alan Harris McDonald funeral directors from Wagga. Andrew, a little bit greasy in the centre of the ground where the old turf wicket was all those years ago.
Yeah, players finding it hard to get a bit of grip there as the ball's thrown in, and Cunningham's wrapped up in a tackle. The umpire will ball it up.
But apart from that, the ground's spectacular, really.
Ball tapped down by the Lions there in Bernoullis, and Shannon Butterfield. No, Jake Sullivan's wrapped up in a tackle. Umpire throws it up once again. Front position by Emery. Punches it forward into the path of Powell. He can swing around on his right. Looks inside. Attempt to be picked up there by Fairman. It's gathered by Peters here now for Turvey. Can send this one into the forward line, and it's just a late tackle there by Fairman. Just a little bit of discrepancies creeping into the Lions game now.
Yeah, well, the umpires are going to pay them either way. They're not going to just favour one side if they're there, which is good.
So Stapleton Ashcroft comes inside and finds Voss. He's at centre forward. Hand passes one to Stapleton. He kicks this one high. Sitting under this is Higgins. Takes a good mark.
Yep.
A good mark in front of Sam Martin.
It's really about their first foray, or their deepest foray into the 50 this quarter, I think, Andrew.
Yeah, this is probably their best chance for a score in this second quarter.
And once again, we've got good vision of it. They'll be keen to... they're no threat to the Lions here, but they'll be keen just to improve that scoreboard a little bit before they go into the sheds at half-time and regroup, regather. He comes in, kicks on that right foot. No, he sprayed it right across. Result, Ben Walsh takes a mark, I think, Andrew, isn't it?
Yeah, taking a mark just inside the boundary. He elects to come back to whence it came, to Jack Sussay. And passes one over the top to Sam Martin. He's put it out in front of him, but the bounce is favourable. Swings on his left. Under this is Ashcroft. He can't mark. Gathered by Nate Hamlin. Gets one on to Shannon Butterfield. He can't pick it up. Coming through is Jack McKegg. Hand passes back to Voss. Tackle there from McKegg. Back to Nate Hamlin. Breaks around one. Kicks this forward, but it's all Emery there. Marks one low to the ground. Plays on quickly. Goes wide. Out the far side looking for Peters. Race for the ball between him and Tom Anderson. Gathered by Peters there for Turvey. Swings around on his left. Grubs one forward there. Had no one to kick to. Race for the ball now. Tom Quinlan. Peters, he gathers. He's wrapped up in a tackle there by Peters. The ball's going nowhere, and the umpire will call for a ball up.
We're going to get a ball up right out there on the far side of the ground. We can see the out there we've got Stephen Patterson, Bobcat Hire from Coolaman, Cobra Apparel, our local man on that merchandise, and Coolaman Steelworks with those chaser bins.
Foley gathers that one out of the ruck, kicks it forward there, but it's into the arms of Lewington. Looks to come inside, finds McDevitt there, takes a strong mark. Looks to switch for Turvey there, finds Stapleton. Turvey with that loose man in defence, can run this one out. Emery over the top to Lewington, pressure here from the Lions, on to Warren. He's wrapped up in a tackle, gets his hand pass out to Dooley, back to Lewington. Turvey looked to keep possession there, comes wide, finds Margocius in front of Josh Walsh.
They were a little bit like the rabbit in the spotlight, but they got out of it, Andrew.
Chips one over, finds McDevitt. Still 80 metres from goal, one over the top. Almost marked there by Ashcroft. He spills back to McDevitt, on to Warren. He takes a mark. He'll go back and have send this one forward for the Bulldogs. Sends this one into the pocket. Under this is Margocius. Almost marked by Martin there. Gathered by Tom Sussay, on to Burhop. Kicks this one high, looking for Fairman. Can't take the mark there. Pressure from Jones. Support from Anderson. Gets one over the top from Fairman to Anderson. He plays on. Chips one forward to Powell. Takes a mark on that far wing. Looks to come inside. Finds Jack McKegg. He plays on. Pressure there from Voss. Sends this forward. It's gone over the head of Bernoullis and Ashcroft, and it's out of bounds in that pocket for a throw-in.
Yeah, the wind's taken it a little bit out there, that occasion. We'll get a throw-in out there in front of the Harris Contracting. Sean Harris, would have been flat out before that rain, spreading the urea for his clients. That rain that we were lucky and desperate to have.
Bernoullis and Cunningham in the ruck. Ball's on the ground there, and it's rolled back over the sidelines again. Umpire will throw it back in.
Once again, throw in between the sponsors there, Sean Harris and the sports club.
Bernoullis and Voss. Bernoullis grabs this one out of the ruck. He's wrapped up in a tackle. Ball spills three there. Gathered by Turvey's Ashcroft. Kicks this one high, wide to the wing. Race for the ball there by Burhop. keeps it inside, taps it back to Quinn. The umpire said
it's
too late, over the sideline.
Beating them all once again out there in front of the sponsors, Stephen Patterson and Cobra Apparel. There it is, the siren. That'll end proceedings here for the half-time break, the major break at the Gammain Sports Ground. The Lions 9-6-60, the Bulldogs 1 goal 1-7.
The dominant quarter from the Lions,
big quarter from the Lions, Andrew. Yeah, Bulldogs didn't score that quarter.
It was just a slight little bit of improvement there, moving the ball forward from Turvey late in that quarter, but they didn't worry the Lions at all in that second quarter.
Yeah, that a little bit of ill discipline in the first half of the quarter for the Bulldogs. That went against them. They eventually settled and got that out of the system, and then the Lions fended a couple of times and gave away a couple of 50s. But Lions well on top here at as we take a half-time break. We'll take commentators will take a break and some water. Andrew might go into the sheds and see what the news is.
For all your AG, vet chemicals, fertilizer and bulk fuel, go to Logan and Hitchens.
Ganmain and District Sports Club, a place to celebrate and much, much more.
So the players take up their positions here for the start of the third quarter here at the Gammain Sports Ground. Once again, I'll take that opportunity to plug the RAV4 and the raffle there. Baz came up for a brilliant idea during the break there that every parent could buy their child that turns 18 a raffle ticket. What a great way to present them with a car on their 18th birthday, Baz. So don't have to restrict it to your 18th birthday. Anyone could buy me a ticket for my birthday, and I'm way past 18. But there's just a thought from Baz. Particularly, school leavers. Even if they don't, I keep saying, even if they don't want the car, it sets them up. Andrew, what do you reckon?
Good idea. Baz has always got good ideas, hasn't he, Guy? We're back to the start of this third quarter. Dan Foley taps that one down, but it's into the path of Smith for Turvey. They go forward through the arms of Leary, over the back there, racing out to meet the ball is Ashcroft, and it's a snap-on goal there, and it's the first one for the Bulldogs there. Just can't quite pick that player up. Might have been Joel Peters. He's very dangerous around goal. A kick 5 last week, and he's got the first of the third quarter to the Bulldogs.
Well, that's a good start from the Bulldogs here in the third quarter.
Lions looked very relaxed in the rooms there at half-time.
Well, they won't be able to switch off too much, Andrew. They got a big lead, but still the Bulldogs put that one on fairly easy.
Yeah, this quarter, Sam Martin wanting the Lions to run the ball, lower their eyes. As Foley grabs this out of the ruck, but he's wrapped up in a good tackle there, and he's caught with the ball by Margocious. He'll send this one long for Turvey there. It's low, cut off by Burhop. Goes through his hands, grabbed by Ashcroft. Will, that is, out to Jack Sussay. Gets a hand pass wide to Sam Martin. Back to Proctor. Dodges around one, back to Jack Sussay. Comes to the clubroom side. Kicks one low, looking for Jack McKegg. Ball's gathered by Kirkman. He's wrapped up in a tackle, and the umpire ball it up. Caught there by Turvey's two experienced players in Margocious and Emery.
Turvey have come out full of running, Andrew.
As young Voss just manhandles his opponent there, and Dan Foley gets a free kick. Chips one looking for Jack McKegg. He marks it there in front of the broadcasting box. He's got Ben Walsh streaming through the centre of the ground. Kicks this one long and wide, finds him in the centre. Hand pass over the top to Burhop. Puts him under pressure, back to Ben Walsh. Breaks the tackle of Dooley. Back to Dan Foley. And it's a good one-headed mark there by Kirkman. And the umpires call it a mark. One umpire says play on, the other one overruled, says it's a mark. So Mahon will go back and have a shot on goal.
Well, the umpire closest, still in dispute between the umpires. We're going to have a conference between the umpires. Might be a learner, is it? No, umpire Andrew. But I think might end up a ball up, will it?
Yes, looks like it. Umpires are going to ball it up. Big discussion. Foley and Voss in the ruck. Foley gathers it out of the ruck. Hand pass one forward looking for Mahon. Hand pass over his shoulder. Gabbed by Roberts. Back to Mahon though. He ducks ahead and he's wrapped up in a tackle there by Dooley. And umpire will call for a ball up. 40 metres out from the Lions goal. Close one up at Coolerman. Coolerman in front by a point against Mangapla at half time. Foley grabs it out of the ruck. Grabbed by Cunningham though. Inside to Lewington, back to Emery, back to Lewington. Chips one short and finds Guthrie. Plays on quickly to Lewington. Turvey looking to run this out of defence. Finds Margocius all on his own on that far wing. Kicks this down. Good use of the body there by Leary on Jack Sussay.
It's a different looking Turvey side, Andrew.
Yeah, they've come out with a lot of purpose in this third quarter. Sends this one long, but sitting under it is Ben Walsh, and the umpire
Not paid.
has called play on. And it's out over the sideline for a throw-in. 50 metres from the Bulldogs' goal.
We've got Louis Dreyfus out there. They own that another grain business up there between Coolman and Mara.
Voss uses the body well, gathers it out of the ruck. Hand passes back inside. Ball's on the ground there, gathered by Jake Fairman. Kicks this one wide. Good spoil there by Nate Hamlin on Warren. Gathered by Anderson. Chips one over the top and finds Manulis in front of the club rooms. Kicks this one low, looking for Tom Sussay on a strong lead from half forward in front of Lewington. Can come inside, finds Jack McKegg. He's 55 metres from goal. Kicks this low, looking for Jack Powell. Almost marked there by Guthrie. Coming through is Ashcroft. He dives on the ball and it's going to be held up. Umpire call for a ball up. 30 metres out from the Lions' goals.
With 10 in from the boundary, 30 out from the goal. Southern end of the ground.
Panulis taps this inside. Gathered by Ashcroft though. Back to Nate Hamlin. Gathered by Kirk Barn. Back to Proctor. Lions are being forced backwards here to Tom Quinn. He's wrapped up in a tackle by Voss. And the umpires, Dean has caught the ball. Good pressure there by Voss. He started this third term well, the young fella. Plays on quickly, kicks into the centre of the ground. Almost cut off by Butterfield. Back to Matt Hamlin. He can go wide over the top to Sam Martin. Streaming through the centre of the ground. Chips this one short, almost through the fingertips of Higgins there, but finds Jack McKegg. Tom Quinn's wrapped up in another tackle. And this time the umpire calls for a ball up. No, he's awarded a free kick.
Deemed caught again, was it, Andrew? I think.
Caught twice in the matter of a minute. No, he's
No.
going to call it back. Going to throw it up. Foley and Voss in the ruck. Foley grabs this out of the ruck. He's tackled. Ball's on the ground there. Coming through is Smith. Tackles Anderson. Another ball up. Foley grabs it out of the ruck again. Gets a little kick away to Proctor. Back inside to Hamlin. Shrugs one tackle, dodges around another, chips one over the top looking for Butterfield. He can't mark, spoiled there by McDevitt. Breaks one tackle, hand pass back to Fairman. The Lions are going nowhere. Good pressure here by Turvey and the umpire's calling for another ball up.
Another ball up. Turvey, they'd come out with a lot of desperation this quarter.
Foley taps it out the back, gathered by Magocius to Matt Hamlin. He's tackled high and the umpire's calling for a ball up.
That's about 12 ball ups inside the Lions 50 for this quarter, I reckon, Andrew.
Good pressure from Turvey.
That's what it is,
They
yeah.
started this quarter with a bit of zest.
They're marking their players a lot harder.
Foley taps that down towards Butterfield. Coming through Smith. Just cops Dan Foley high there and it'll be a free kick to Dan Foley. He's 45 metres from goal.
Once again, a little bit of niggle, but not result. No 50s this time. Dan Foley will kick inside the 50. He tends to get a lot of height in those kicks, Andrew.
Be kicking into this strong breeze.
This one's a bit lower, but the breeze is dropping it.
Gathered by Tom Sussay. Has a snap-on goal there. It's across the face.
Oh, it's bounced and it's still in play. Turvey take it over the line.
Through from behind. Dooley brings this in. Comes wide to Warren. Marks in front of Nate Hamlin.
First score for the quarter for the Lions.
Chips one short. Looking for Ashcroft. Gathered by Butterfield. Goes back inside to Mann. It's on the ground there. Ball spills through by Smith. He's wrapped up in a tackle. And umpires, as players dive in on top here, dragging off. No love lost here between Kirkman and Aidan Smith as the umpire throws this one up. Some concentrating on the ball, some concentrating on the wrestle, and umpire call for another ball up.
Can't help but think, Andrew, though, sometimes that leniency in letting the player have the ball so much and not paying those courts, it ends up in a bit of a tussle. Never mind, that's what it is.
As Dan Foley kicks this forward, a good run around there by Bernulis. One on to Jack McKegg, and it's a goal to the Lions.
Well, I think it's fired the Lions up a little bit there. That's their best entry, best bit of play for the quarter. Takes the Lions to 10-7, 67. Bulldogs 2-1-13. Just about 9 minutes gone here in the third term. So that well, Turvey, they didn't really get a run on, but they've had the better of the play for the quarter up until that point, Andrew.
Yeah, they've looked much better this third quarter. The younger players are really lifted.
Had the Lions rattle a little bit for a few minutes, but so let's see if they can keep up that pressure and add to their score a little bit, and keep a bit of respectability about it.
Foley in the ruck with Voss. Ball's on the ground there, coming through is Jack Sussay, and he's wrapped up in a tackle. But it's a free kick to Aaron Proctor there, off the ball. He can go wide, finds Ben Walsh. Starting to show a bit of dash off half back there. Goes wide, finds Jack Powell on that far wing. Chip one over the top, looking for Sam Martin. The Lions running, keeping possession. He sends one in long and low to centre, to full forward there. Ball spills free, gathered by Kirkman. He can swing on his left. Has a step on goal, and he's kicked it.
He likes it.
He likes it. He has got a left foot. Great goal, Kirkman.
He just knows when to break it out, Andrew. Lions 11-7, 73 as a result of that Kirkman goal. Bulldogs 2-1-13. 10.5 minutes gone, third quarter. Changes. Lions continue their rotations. Well, that's really stemmed that little bit of Bulldog spirit that at the start of the quarter.
As Dan Foley grabs that one out of the ruck and sends this in long and low. Good pressure there by Aaron Proctor, gathered by Seb Hamlin. His kick smothered. Gathered by Dooley there. He storms out of defence. Kicks one wide, looking for Peters there. Goes over his head, gathers again. Tackled by Jack Sussay. Gathered by Matt Hamlin. Chips wide, finds Jackson Connolly on that far wing. Kicks this one long and low, looking for Tom Sussay. Spoiled there by Roberts. Gathered by Jack Sussay. Regathered by Roberts. Space here for Turvey on that far wing. Stapleton takes one bounce, can send this into the forward line for Turvey. Ben Walsh has front position. The ball spills free, gathered by Dan Foley. Over the top to Ben Walsh. Tries to pick this one up at his feet. Back to Dan Foley. Back to Tom Anderson. Lions controlling with numbers across here at half-back. Josh Walsh to Sam Martin as Burrup runs into a wall of Turvey Park players there. Gathered by Sam Martin. Goes wide and finds Tom Quinn. Comes in and finds Fairman in that pocket. Lions haven't got out of defence yet as Burhop gingerly gets to his feet. Ball's kicked low into the centre there to Jackson Connolly. On to Tom Quinn. On to Tom Anderson. Sends this one forward. Looking for Aaron Proctor. It's marked by Bernulis on the 50 there. Moves quickly, looking for Tom Anderson. He gathers the mark. He can play on here. Has a shot on goal. And it's a goal to Tom Anderson.
A rolling bit of play from the Lions and a rolling goal to Tom Anderson.
Good work from Tom Anderson off that half-back. He continued to press forward there and got the opportunity in the centre of the ground. Kicked a goal.
Yeah, good passage of play out of the Lions' back line. Right around this side of the ground. Strong mark, Tom Bernulis, and he had two options, and Tom Anderson was able to take a good mark, play on, goal it for the Lions, southern end of the ground. The Lions 12-7-79, the Bulldogs 2-1-13, 13 minutes gone, third term.
Dan Foley's rucked tirelessly all day there against Voss. Ball's on the ground there, gathered by Foley. He's wrapped up in a tackle by Voss.
Amongst the Lions' best, I reckon, Andrew.
Yes, he's played very well today.
His around the ground play's been good.
Foley taps this down to Tom Sussay. Gets a little hand pass out the back to Tom Anderson. Kicks this one high. Sitting under it is Seb Hamlin. Punched clear by Emery. Into the path of Jake Fairman. But he's deemed to throw. Turvey play on quickly through Leary. Comes wide. Looking forward, Ashcroft. Martin tries to keep his feet. It's picked up by Leary. Back to Lewington. Good tackle by Fairman. Stapleton tips one forward there. Spoiled by Tom Quinn as Smith goes for goal and he's kicked it. Hayden Smith's got Turvey Park's second goal of the quarter. A reply there for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, good reply there from the Bulldogs. No threat to the Lions, but it's good to see them keep in touch a little bit. Well, I don't think they're any threat, are they, Andrew, at this stage? But
no, it's sort of been an even quarter on the scoreboard, 2 goals apiece. But Turvey's, yeah, they're a long way back, but they're challenging. Foley down to Powell, back to Foley. Kicks this one high, looking for Seb Hamlin, but it's a good mark by Emery. Quickly on to Harmer, but his missed kick finds Fairman. Back to Sam Martin, who runs off. Sends this one forward. Sitting under it is Fairman. Running with the flight of the ball. Takes a good mark. 55 from goal.
He'll be keen to avenge that getting caught with the ball there a little while ago, Andrew.
Sends this one long and low. Sitting under it is Seb Hamlin. Almost marked. It is marked by Seb Hamlin. A juggling mark over the back of the pack there. He'll go back and have a shot on goal. Seb Hamlin moved to centre forward in this third quarter and taken a good mark.
Well, you won't get an easier shot at goal, but you still got to kick him. He's 15 to 20 out. Comes in on that left foot, pokes it through over the goal umpire's head. Lions 13-7-85. Bulldogs 3-1-19. There's nearly 16 minutes gone here in the third term. Both sides continuing with their rotations. Breeze has dropped off a fair bit, Andrew. Not that don't think it had a big impact on the game. A little bit psychological, if anything.
Yes, it's dropped off a bit. As Jenkins up against Foley in the ruck, but the ball's at their feet. The umpire calls for another ball up. Turvey's thrown away that loose man in defence. One-on-one as Tom Sussay looks to bring this out of the centre. It's gone high. Spoil there from Emery. Leary breaks the tackle. Turvey with numbers wide. Goes Jones to Dooley. Back to Jones. He can run and bounce here. Kicks one in low, looking for Stapleton. Miss kick. Butterfield gathers this one in. He's tackled. Play on, says the umpire. Comes back to Martin. Regathered by Higgins there, and he kicks his second.
Another good effort from the Bulldogs late in the
Stapleton,
third term.
that was. Yeah, no, good effort by the Bulldogs. They're showing some glimpses here in this third quarter. They're matching the Lions.
Lions will have to keep that work rate up. Lions 13.785, Bulldogs 4.125. We wait for the ball to come back in the centre. Still Dan Foley to take on his Bulldogs opponent. Hands on his shorts, sucking in those breaths.
Proctor, Mann and Hamlin on the ball for the Lions. Foley taps this one forward into the path for Proctor. He's wrapped up in a tackle there by Leary, and the ball's not going anywhere. Another ball up. Foley and Jenkins, no one can grab that one. Jenkins with a little hand pass out the back into the path of Peters. Turvey pushed forward here through Leary and Warren. Ball cut off by Sam Martin. Players diving on it, gathered by Ben Walsh. Back to Kirkman. Sloppy football here from both sides. Gathered there by Jenkins. Gets one wide to Warren. Comes back to Peters. He fumbles. Pressure from Seb Hamlin there. And the ball's going to be balled up here as players pile in on top of this one right in front of the change rooms.
Those little discipline matters, I think, have been addressed by their respective coaches at half-time, Andrew. We haven't seen any this quarter.
No, the sides have both settled into their games now as Dan Foley thumps that forward into the path of Butterfield. Dan Foley chips this one high, looking for Seb Hamlin. The ball's almost marked by Harmer, and the umpire will throw it in front of the game main change box.
Right below the commentary box here. Baz is right onto the image here for the ruck tussle.
Vanoulis has come up into the ruck against Jenkins. Takes it out of the ruck. Breaks through one tackle.
Deemed to throw, I think.
Deemed to throw, and so Dooley will take the kick. He's got Margocius in the centre of the ground, but coming through as Ben Walsh judges it well. Hand passes wide to Jackson Conley. Can chip a little short one and finds Jack McKegg at centre half forward. He looks to reel and swing around, but he slips as he goes to kick. Cunningham cuts it off. Gathered by Peters. Hand one's out the back to Lewington. His hand pass falls short. There's been some errors in this quarter by both sides. Conley kicks this one forward. It goes through the hands of Jack McKegg as Dan Foley tries to pick it up. Emery tries to clear for the Bulldogs. Through the path of Dooley. Coming back inside through Tom Sussay, and a chip by Jack McKegg
Not
to
10,
Hamlin.
not the required distance, yeah.
His hand pass goes to Cunningham as Turvey looked to clear out of the centre. Gathered by Ashcroft. He can send this one in long. It's a one-on-one between Voss and Walsh. Play on, says the umpires. The ball hits the ground. Voss overruns this one. Tapped back inside by Ashcroft. Coming through is Aaron Proctor. Bundles Smith out of the road as the Lions surge forward again. Benoulis swings around. Breaks one tackle. Hand passes back to Walsh. Taps one on to Jack Sussay. The Lions are clear now. Kirkman gets blocked by the Sun. He drops that one. Regathers. Finds Seb Hamlin on a lead at half forward. Swings around on his left. Sends it in looking for Dan Foley. Good pressure by Ashcroft. Coming through his Shannon Butterfield. He can't pick it up. Dooley gathers. Back to Harmer. Back to Jones. Inside to Higgins. Back to Jones again. On to Margocius. He runs through the centre of the ground. Sends this one long looking for Jenkins. Gathered by Tom Quinn. Gets one out to the back to Ben Walsh. Finds Kirkman. In front of the Bulldogs bench. Goes inside. Finds Benoulis at centre half back. He can switch here. He's got Burhop way out in front of the scoreboard, but elects to go through the middle to Josh Walsh. Back out to Sam Martin. The Lions are running down that far wing. He takes one bounce, two bounces. Hand passes to Burhop. Going to send this one in high. Looking for a mark here. In front position is Sullivan. He can't hold it. Through his hands. And Turvey looked to bring it out the other side. Good spoil by Nate Hamlin on Warren. Good tackle by Anderson on Roberts, but deemed to, on Higgins there, deemed to be in the back. He'll take the kick. Half back for the Turvey Park Bulldogs. And his kick has been forced out on the full.
He's been pressured out of it. He didn't allow for the player to come in after he played on, Andrew.
Kirkman to take the kick. Turvey with plenty of numbers back. Chips one short. Finds Matt Hamlin, but the sun's in his eyes. He drops it. Dodges round one. Gets a hand pass over the back there. Numbers for the Lions there. Regathered. Jake Fairman hooks this one back inside. Good kick. Finds Hamlin. Quickly onto his cousin Matt. He's running towards goal. Sends this one up high. Looking for Jake Sullivan. And he finds him. Takes a good mark.
Good link-up play there with the Hamlin cousins. Their mothers might have a look at that on the replay if they get time when they're overseas, Andrew. Comes in. Goals it.
They like it. Goal to Jake Sullivan.
Good confidence booster for the young fella there.
That's his second for the game.
Lions 14-7, 91. Bulldogs 4-1, 25. We're at 23 minutes in the third term. Time for both sides to score. Much better quarter for the Bulldogs, but it hasn't really hasn't paid for them on the scoreboard, but they've put some lot better passage of play together.
Bernulis in the ruck, up against Voss. Voss taps this over the top to Dooley. On to Margocius, gets his kick forward, finds Ashcroft. On to Higgins, chips one short. The mark's dropped there by Jenkins. Hand passes over the top there to Jones. Tries to get around Jack Sussay, breaks one tackle, breaks another. But he can't break the third attempt by Jack Sussay, and the umpire...
High tackle, I think he's going to pay, Andrew. Yeah, so it probably was there, but umpire gave him a fair bit of latitude, and the tackle was high. Result will he'll have to kick inside. It'll just come inside the 50 when he lets it go.
Young Sam Jones.
What's his history, Andrew?
Yeah, not. I think he's a Turvey Park Junior guy. Don't know a lot about Sam. May have come from Lockhart at one stage. His kick goes high, but standing under it is Bernulis and takes a mark. Gets one onto Jackson Conley there. He looks to come back inside there. Finds Powell. Lions looking to use the corridor. Onto Jack Sussay. Going wide. Looking for Tom Anderson, but it's gathered by Warren there. Chips one short. Looking for Stapleton. It's at his toes. Just a few errors there from both sides on occasion with skills, but Dooley kicks this one off the ground and finds Bernulis. And passes back inside to Powell. Pressure here from Turvey with numbers, but all out the back is the Lions. Pride of Lions as they bring it forward there through Matt Hamlin. Finds Jake Fairman here in the wing. He can play on here. He's got Higgins on his tail. Sends this forward looking for Dan Foley's playing front position, and he marks in front of Ashcroft. Chips one over the top. Finds Seb Hamlin in the pocket. He can go back and have a shot.
Both Hamlin brothers having a good quarter this one, Andrew. And their cousin also. We'll get a great view of this. Behind Seb. Number 19 for the Lions. Probably going to have to kick from 40. Got the pressure of the siren now. It's all in the mind, they say. We'll watch and wait. Offline, one behind. Didn't make the distance. Hit the point post, did it? Yeah, umpire signals one behind. No score, sorry.
No score.
No score there for the end of the third quarter. Lions 14-7, 91. Bulldogs 4-1, 25. It was quite encouraging to see the Bulldogs come out, Andrew, and they played a lot better. They couldn't convert with the Lions' pressure, but they had a lot more of the play. So their coach supporters will be a lot happier with that quarter.
Yeah, the Lions win it by a goal, but the game up at Coolabin, a three-quarter time, it's a goal the difference. MCU 5-12-42 to Coolabin 4-12-36. So it's
they've got the close one, not us.
Some bad kicking up the road, but it's a close one.
Commentators and camera people and technicians will have a break and a drink. We'll leave you with that image while you can think about winning that car.
Ganmain Bakery and the famous Ganmain pies. If you can bake it, we make it.
Great pub accommodation and icy cold beers. Ganmain Hotel for good quality pub grub.
Ganmain News Agency, open 7 days. Lotto newspapers, the list keeps going.
Crowd disperses and the teams disperse from their huddles at three-quarter time here. We're lining up for the last quarter here. The Ganmain Sports Ground. Andrew, score from Coolaman.
Yeah, just at that three-quarter time, it was Mangapla up by a goal, Guy.
Right, well, it's all happening up there, but the Lions are well on top here. And they'll come home to the northern end. It's probably been the favoured end of the day, but didn't really matter. The Lions have been far too strong, but Turvey did have their best quarter that quarter.
Ball's thrown up there. Aaron Proctor attempts to clear it out of the centre there. Into the path of Matt Hamlin. Gathered there by Dooley. On to Smith. Sends this one forward. Almost marked by Ashcroft. Here he gathers there. Picked up by Dan Foley. He's on top of the ball there. And the umpire called for a ball up. Ball's tapped down into the path of Smith. He kicks this one forward, but right into the arms of Ben Walsh. He's been good this second half across half back there for the Lions. He's had a little bit more freedom there today. He hasn't had to pick up a key forward with his brother Josh back in the side. Jake Fairman has this ball now, comes inside and finds Matt Hamlin, takes a low diving mark. He's had a lot of possessions today, Matt Hamlin.
Oh, he's just continued on his good form, Andrew, yeah.
Kicks this one high and long under his pow, through his hands, gathered there by Dooley, that is. Gets one back to his teammate there, and it's over the sidelines. And
he's found the boundary out there, and we'll get a throw in out there in front of that Cobb Apparel. He's a great sponsor and organises all that that apparel that the club's got.
Ball's thrown in. It's gathered here by Vost. Kicks this one forward, looking for Peters. It's at his feet. Swings around on his trusty left. Chips one over the top to Smith. That is pushed on. Hand pass out the back to Dooley. Kick this long and low and finds Leary. A little bit too easy there from the Bulldogs. Lions need to switch on this last quarter. Finish this game off. Percentage could be a factor later in the year. Between them and Gully at the top of the ladder. There's young Ashcroft, I think it is, running in for this one. Kicks on its way. It's going to fall short. Sitting under it is Dan Foley. He can't take the mark. Comes out the back to Aaron Proctor. Shrugs off one. Gets a kick forward to Burhop, and he's takes it out over the sideline. It'll be a throw in.
Andrew he's very quick with that palm off that don't argue, that first one. Buys him a bit of time.
Yeah, gets him a little bit of space to get rid of that ball. Ball's thrown in. It's gone wide though. Umpire will throw it in again.
Throw it in again. Yeah, we're at that point of the season, so we get a bye for the long weekend, then a club bye for the Lions.
Dan Foley front position, takes it out of the ruck. Hand passes forward, looking for Proctor. Mogocius almost gathers it. Proctor picks it up. He's tackled around the legs. Turvey win this out of the contest. Comes to Jenkins, on to Mogocius. Dodges around one, can swing on his left. And he's kicked a goal. First goal of the fourth quarter to Turvey.
Lions 14-7-91, Bulldogs 5-1-31. They're accurate, Andrew. They just haven't had enough of it down there.
No, they haven't had it in their forward line. They're probably missing their key forward, Will Ford, at the moment. He's unavailable this week. Gives them a bit of a target up there.
As we see that end of the ground down there, the sponsors, we've got Mark Bradley from Coolaman with his plumbing business, and MacArthur Real Estate, serviced locally by Errol Sutherland, and we've got the Ganmain Bowling Club. Got that new green up there at the sports club. Bowlers and everybody else is enjoying that.
Ball thrown up. Foley taps this down into the path of Marn, but it's cleared there by Dooley. Race for the ball here by Sam Martin and Margocious, the two speedsters. And he's taken over the sidelines. There'll be another throw in.
We'll have a throw in out there in front of the Glenheath Border Leicesters out there at Mangain on the Roping Pole Road. They got their stud sale in October. Stalemate ruck. Umpire says give it here. We'll ball her up.
8 minutes gone between Coolerman and Mangaplar, and it's Mangaplar by 5 points as Dooley sends this one forward for Turvey Park. Sitting under it is Tom Quinn. Taps it over the top. Race for the ball between Ashcroft and Josh Walsh, and it's out over the sidelines.
Yeah, good spoil there by Tom Quinn. We'll have a throw in front of the Jupiter Motors there in Dobney Avenue. Just about get you any sort of car you want out there.
Foley grabs this out of the ruck. Kick smothered by Dooley. Hand pass over the top by Josh Walsh into the path of Nate Hamlin. He's wrapped up in a tackle. Breaks the one of Roberts there. Kicks this one forward. Powell tries to get it out the back, but it goes gathered by Guthrie. Picked up by Fairman. Kicks this high. Powell sits under this one and he marks. 35 metres out on a 45-degree angle.
Yeah, Fairman gave that a lot of airtime, Andrew, and Powell was able to read it, and he was running away from the sun. Didn't have a problem. Not enough turvy in the vicinity there. He'll have to kick from 35 to 40. Shouldn't be a problem. Minimal breeze now. Comes in, right foot. Pretty good off the boot. Umpire says, yep, that'll do me. Goal to Jack Powell. Lions 15-7-97. Bulldogs 5-1-31. Plenty of time for the Lions to buy that ton again.
Tom Quinn comes to the bench. Seb Hamlin comes on into defence. Back to the centre of the ground. Foley and Voss in the ruck again. Foley taps this one down. Marn slips over there. Ashcroft wraps up Marn in a tackle, slams him to the ground. The umpire calls for a ball up.
Sting's gone out of it a little bit, Andrew, but the boys have got a bit to go yet.
Dan Foley gives it out of the ruck, kicks this one forward into the path of Jake Fairman. He gathers, chips it back inside, looking for Tom Anderson and finds him at centre half forward. He's 50 metres from goal. He can go short to Matt Hamlin. He's 45 metres from goal. And he'll go back and have a shot.
Goal it is, I believe, Matt Hamlin. His opponent was looking at the umpire. In the meantime, Matt Hamlin ran around him, kicked a goal.
Very clever play.
You can't afford to take your eye off a player of the calibre of Matt Hamlin. Lions 16-7-103, Bulldogs 5-1-31. 8 minutes gone the last term.
2 goals to 1 in this last term. Lions get back on top. Foley taps this one down into the path of Matt Hamlin. Pressure there by Warren. Gathered by Jones. He bursts through the centre. On to Dooley. Kicks this one long and low, looking for young Ashcroft. Jag, that is. Gathered by Jack Sussay. Handballs one back over his head. Martin comes and finds Burhop deep in defence. Goes back out the far side. Foley sits under this one.
Oh, a measured kick it was.
Gets his hand pass as he falls to ground.
Coming.
Umpire calling it back. I think he attempted to hand pass that as he fell to ground, but umpire's called him back. Chips one over the top, finds Matt Hamlin. Goes wide, looking for Bernulis and Emery. And
I think Bernulis might be paid the free kick, Andrew.
Yeah.
He was held going for the ball.
he was blocked.
And I think Dan Foley was very relieved that he was able to, I think you called it, I think he was handballing that to play on.
Now Bernulis plays on. He kicks this one high to the goal square. They're all sitting under it.
Touched over the line.
Through from behind. Dooley looks to bring this back in for Turvey Park. 10 minutes gone in the last quarter. Goes forward and finds Warren. It's been handy for the Bulldogs today, the lad from Melbourne.
Yeah, he's racked up quite a few possessions.
He looks to go wide. In front is Bernulis. Takes a good strong mark in front of Emery.
He's strong around the ground, or he's strong everywhere, is he? Certainly is.
Comes inside to Kirkman. Hand passes over the top to Matt Hamlin. Can he get his second in a matter of minutes? He chips this one up, looking for Powell. Pack forms there. The ball's on the ground there. Clearance here by Turvey. Slips over there. Dooley gathers it. He's wrapped around the legs. Umpire says play on. And the ball's held up there at centre half forward. Be another ball up.
Lions will be keen to trap it in here. Get another major. Keep it rolling.
Foley taps it out of the back. Hamlin's kick is smothered. Dooley's hand passes out wide, looking for McDevitt. Back inside to Dooley. He gathers. Gets another one onto a running McDevitt. He fumbles but regathers. Can switch it across to the clubroom side, looking for Peters. Spoil there by Seb Hamlin's on the ground. Gathered by Jones. Shows that customary pace of his. Swings back into the centre of the ground and finds Smith. Sends this long under it is Ashcroft and Jack Sasse, but it's a good mark.
He's pulled in a
Jack
good...
Sasse. Mark of the day. Plays on quickly out to Burhop. He's got Fairman, Anderson that is, but he elects to go long and finds Butterfield on that wing on his own. He can hand pass over the top to Matt Hamlin. There's still plenty of run in these lines.
He's the journeyman.
He can take two bounces, has a running shot at goal, and he's kicked it. Great goal. Great running goal from Matt Hamlin. He's had a good day.
Lions 17, 8, 110. Bulldogs 5, 131. And that passage of play stemmed from that strong mark from Jack Sasse right down there in the last line of defence. He was able to pull it down virtually one-handed, safely played on. Lions around the ground, eastern side. Bulldogs no match for the pace of the Lions on that occasion and the skill of Matt Hamlin streaming towards goal.
Foley and Voss in the ruck. Foley grabs this one out of the ruck, but he's wrapped up in a tackle by Voss, and the umpire says, give it to me, we'll ball it up.
Been a great tussle there, Andrew.
Yeah, it's been a great tussle from young Voss. He's tried very hard. He's only 18, but the clearance here by the Lions through Jake Fairman sends this long, looking for Bernulis. Good spoil from behind there by Guthrie. It's gathered by Cunningham. Looks to bring this out of defence. Comes inside and finds Warren. He can come in front of the club rooms. He's got Jones on his own. He can gather it in. He can sprint away here from his opponent in Marn. Chips one forward, but it's ever reliable Ben Walsh who cuts this one off. Comes inside to Tom Anderson. He's copped a falcon there. That one copped him on the nose unexpectedly. Gathered by Voss. Hand passes one on to Ashcroft. He regathers. Has a shot at goal, but the pressures forced him to kick it behind.
He probably had a little bit more time to have a look, but it's easy from here. If I had Jack Sasse chasing me, I'd probably be under a fair bit of pressure too. 17-8, the Lions. Bulldogs 5-2, 32. We're halfway through the last quarter.
Sam Martin plays on from full back. Hand passes one inside to Jack Powell. Pressure here from Turvey. Goes back to Seb Hamlin wide. Comes back inside. Dodges around one. Can kick long and wide. Looking for Burhop. The Lions escape. Hand pass on to Jackson Conley. Can chip one over the top. Looking for Matt Hamlin. He marks in front of Margocius. The Lions up to the wing. Comes inside. Looking for Jake. Tom Anderson, that is. He sends this in. And good mark by Bernulis. 30 metres out. Lions moving that ball well.
Yeah, there's a few occasions now, Andrew, they've streamed out of defence on that side of the ground, moved it without turning it over. Tom Bernulis was able to read it off his boot, take that mark. He'll kick from 40, directly in front. The shadows lengthen here at the sports ground. Goal umpire doesn't move. He's got a few majors now, Andrew.
Yeah, that's his 5th guy. I've got him down for 5.
Lions 18-8, 116. Bulldogs 5-2, 32. Nearly 15 minutes gone here in the last quarter. Big game from Tom Bernulis, Matt Hamblin. Oh, it's almost too many for the Lions to name. I think Seb Hamblin's had one of his best games for a while, Andrew.
Yeah, no, he's been good today. Ben Walsh has been good. As the ball comes out of the ruck there, gathered by Aaron Proctor. He's been a workhorse today. Kicks this one forward into the path of Tom Anderson. He's also been good. A lot of contributors out there as he sends this one to centre forward. Tom Sussay keeps this one in front of him. Has a running left foot shot at goal. And it's just off to the right.
Just can't get the right break on it. Good attempt though. Lions 18-9, 117. Bulldogs 5-2, 32. 15 gone.
As Lewington looks to bring this one in. Goes to the far side, finds Dooley. The Turvey Park captain coach comes inside. Good pressure by Proctor there on Ashcroft. Lions turn it over there as Tom Sussay has a running shot at goal. And it's just to the right again.
Tom Sussay, you can't buy one for the moment. That one was on his preferred, on his right foot. Never mind. Get it again from the kick in and have another go.
20 minutes gone in the 4th quarter at between Coolerman and Mangapla, and it's Mangapla by still that 6 points, 61-55. As Lewington brings this in and finds Guthrie in the pocket. He's looking for Jenkins. Tries to take a one-handed mark. It's gathered by Ashcroft. Kicks this, Leary that is, he kicks this one high. Tom Quinn with front position. It's gathered by Voss there. Breaks away from his opponent. Josh Walsh looks to centre this ball. Pressure here from Burhop and Ben Walsh. Gathered by Burhop. Breaks around Smith. Clearance kick out wide to Jackson Conley on his own. Across half back and come inside to Powell.
Lions got just way too many numbers, Andrew.
They're running everywhere as Quinn sends this into Bernulis. He just holds that up and marks on his chest.
There was a number of options there they could have played through to get it down to Tom Bernulis. They chose the right one. That's about all you can say. Just too many numbers out of the back line. Running, pressure, just too good for their Bulldogs opponents. There's Tom Bernulis. He'll kick this from round about 40.
Going for number 6. Kicks it high. Goal umpire doesn't move.
Carries his head.
6 goals to Tom Bernulis.
Lions 19-10, 124. Gee, that sneaked up quick. Bulldogs 5-2, 32. 17, nearly 18 minutes gone. Won't come quick enough. The end won't come quick enough for the Bulldogs. Just down below us here, Sam Martin on the bench. He's clapping his players. Don't stop. Keep going. We've got 2 buys in a row. You can rest then and come out and head into that back end of the season, Andrew.
Yes, 2 buys. It's a bit of a break. They've got to use them well. So Foley and Ashcroft in the ruck now. Foley taps it down in the path of Aaron Proctor. He breaks one tackle. Back to Jack Powell. Swings on his left. Chips this one forward, but Cunningham cuts that off. Ball spills free. Gathered by Roberts. He can chip wide. He finds Jones on his own. He can play on here. Chips one short. Finds Leary. Turvey with the overlap here onto Higgins. Kicks this long and low and finds Ashcroft in front of Burhop. Looks to put this up into the hot spot, but smothered by Seb Hamlin there. Nate Hamlin comes through. Dan Foley tries to tow it forward, but gathers it. On to McKegg, on to Mahon. Conley just spills one there. He breaks one tackle there. Hand passes over the top to Tom Sussay. He's under pressure. Jack McKeag dives on this one. Numbers there for Turvey. Jenkins tries to break the tackle of Butterfield. It's out. Back into the centre to McDevitt. On to Dooley. He gets a hand pass forward. It's on the ground. He regathers. Palms off Sussay. Gets a hand pass forward to Margocius. He's wrapped up in a tackle but caught high there. It'll be a free kick to Margocius in the centre of the ground.
Andrew, just go back to that important little stat down there in front of us. Seb Hamlin on the mark and was able to spoil the kick. All important little stats in the game.
Yep. Calls to turnover there as Ben Walsh sits under this one. Takes a mark. He can go wide to Jack Powell all on his own.
Death and Taxes and Ben Walsh. There it is, all three.
He's had a dominant game across half-back there for the Lions. Powell moves this on to Tom Sussay. Can come inside to Jake Sullivan. The skills of the Lions are just a little bit superior to the Bulldogs at the moment. Runs around his opponent, sends this high. Sitting under this is Bernulis.
The man of the moment.
Comes in from the side and takes a good strong mark, Tom Bernulis.
He's a nightmare to pick up. He's proving it today, Andrew.
You'll go back and line up for goal number 7.
That's a pretty big display in this, in the modern era. Goal kicking tallies don't tend to be that great nowadays, but Tom Bernulis is on song here today at the Gammain Sports Ground. That's no exception, that one, I believe.
It's just snuck it in, and
yeah,
goal number 7.
Lions 20-10, 130. Bulldogs 5-2-32. 20 minutes gone now. Jackson Conley leaves the ground and young Fairman comes back on. He'll be faster than ever after having a breath, Andrew.
Yeah, no, the Lions are rotating that bench there. They've got a plethora of young fellas to bring on with speed and skill.
It's a great luxury to have, but we all know about injuries. We don't want to talk about it, but the Lions have got the luxury of depth this year.
Foley and Ashcroft in the ruck. Foley taps this down, but it's into the path of Dooley. Hand passes one over the top there. Gathered by Tom Sussay. Clearance out of the centre here for the Lions. He can go wide, looking for Nate Hamlin. He marks this one over his head. Plays on quickly, looking for Burhop. He's marked this one out wide in front of the scoreboard. Sends this one high, sitting under Bernulis. Through his hands, it's over the back. Dooley tries to gather it in. Charging through there is Butterfield. The ball's on the ground there. Jake Sullivan gathers it in, but it stacks on the mill, and the umpire call for a ball up.
Dan Foley comes to the bench for the Lions for a well-earned rest, and Dan Foley might have an enjoyable 2 buys, I reckon, Andrew. He's had a pretty good
day, yep.
Good day, good season thus far.
This ball's a tussle there in that pocket. The umpire called for another ball up. Late in this 4th quarter, Bernulis taps this down into the path of Powell. He tries to get around one, gets a kick away. And it's a tackle high there on Turvey Park, and it'll be a free kick. They look to switch the play there. Finds Roberts in the goal square. He looks to play on. Runs away from his opponent. Matt Hamlin kicks this one high. It's a good mark to Tom Sussay there in front of his opponent, Sam Jones. Chips this one looking for Matt Hamlin. Charging out from full forward is Bernulis. Gathered by Matt Hamlin. He's wrapped up in a tackle. And the umpire called for a ball up.
Yeah, the Bulldogs player there on that going for that mark just took it a bit easy. Tom Sussay read it the better. Goal to Jack Powell, I think, Andrew, the result of taking it out of the ruck, was it?
Yeah, looks like it, Guy. He's the one they're congratulating.
Yeah, he came down out of the ruck with it and thought, well, as I'm not being tackled, I'll just kick this goal here.
A late one for the Lions, gets them over 100 points lead.
21-10, 136. The Bulldogs 5-2-32.
25 minutes gone up at Coolaman, and it's Mangapla 67, Coolaman 56. So the goannas could be home there, Guy.
Yeah, all that defeat at the hands of the Lions last week at the Goannas home ground must have stirred them up, Andrew.
As Ashcroft takes this one out of the ruck. Kicks it forward, but it's marked by Sam Martin. Across centre half back. Chips this forward, finds Aaron Proctor. Chips one over the top and finds Kirkman. Very serviceable for the Lions today.
Nearly too numerous to mention the best players for the Lions, Andrew.
Yeah, even the young ones are coming in. Good mark to Seb Hamlin there.
I reckon it's Seb's best game for the year myself.
Confidence boosting as Jake Sullivan goes high and spills that one. The ball's on the ground coming through his Turvey Park there. Clearance by Jenkins. Gathered by Tom Susse there in the centre of the ground. Back to his brother Jack. He demanded the ball on that occasion and it goes wide to Burhop. Chips one short, looking for McKeag. Gathered by Tom Anderson, swings around on his left. It's gone high. Sitting under this is Dooley. He juggles the mark, plays on. Chips one over the top. That's a good mark to Seb Hamlin over Josh Ashcroft.
It would be very fitting here if Seb Hamlin could put this goal through, Andrew, in the dying stages of the game here at the Ganmain Sports Ground. He's had a great game, I believe. Baz right behind him. You might be able to hear his mum cheer on from overseas, Andrew, if they're on the live stream. Might be too early, not sure. I'm sure they'll get a look at it as Seb comes in. Customary left foot. Looks pretty good to me. Goal umpire just comes forward and watches it over.
Very true, it's through.
Yep. No, great way to cap out the game. Lions 22-10, 142. Bulldogs 5-2-32. 26 minutes gone here now.
The Lions have been dominant in this last quarter. You like to win every quarter, and they've done so now. A bit of after that early goal from Turvey Park at the start of this quarter, the Lions have
yeah, just dominated, Andrew. Dominated
on
across all lines, really. Turvey have tried. They're just outgunned, outmanned, outpressured.
Seb Hamlin back in the ruck. Taps that one down into the path of Tom Susse as Kirkman gathers this one in. Gets one out to the back to Aaron Proctor. He dodges around one, but he's wrapped up in a tackle. Turvey win possession here and kick this one forward into the path of Ashcroft. He can come inside and finds Leary.
They might be able to buy a late one here, Andrew. Don't blame Aaron Proctor for getting caught on that occasion. He's got to be tired. He's just racked up, put in all day. He's going to be kicked from, yeah, a bit over 40. Umpire's trying to straighten him up. Mouthguard in the socks so he can concentrate. Nearly be caught him. Well, yep. He's after the siren now, so he's just got that little bit of pressure. Now it turned into be a bit of a floater in the finish, so there's the final score. The siren sounded here at the sports ground. How are they going at Coolaman, Andrew?
Yeah, just trying to get a score, Guy.
Right. Well, the final score here at the Ganmain Sports Ground, the Lions 22-10, 142. The Bulldogs 5-2-32. So a thumping win here to the Lions today against the reigning premiers, the Turvey Park Bulldogs. So I think it was coming all day right from the centre bounce. We did see a bit of a rally from the Bulldogs, but they couldn't get it on the scoreboard. They played out the game, Andrew, but just no match for the Lions today.
No, the Lions were too strong, too fast, and too skillful in the end.
Well, you did mention that the Bulldogs are probably missing their that forward, their key forward, so wouldn't be the only. He couldn't make that much difference, but good to see players here exchanging handshakes. A little bit of niggle early in the game, but we know that doesn't last long once the siren's gone. get on with it and go about their business towards next week. Well, there is no week next week for the Lions. 2 byes in a row, and then we come back and we play Narrandera in the home game here on the 29th of June. So you got anything to add, Andrew?
No, it's just a good effort there from Matty Hamlin today, and Ben Walsh was very good across half-back. Up forward, Tom Bernulis with 7 goals. It was good to see the young fellas getting involved, getting a bit of confidence there, and as the Lions press on with their season, they sit on top of the ladder at the halfway mark, and they'll be looking forward to a great second half of the year.
All right, we'll close out there, and we'll leave the footy here today. Don't forget that raffle, the RAV4. Get your tickets, get in for that raffle. Great prize, and we'll say good afternoon here from the Ganmain Sports Ground, and Baz will play his closer.
Amazing service and carefully sourced homewares and furniture. Fisher and Farmer.
Coolaman Butchery, a great place to meet up. Yummy yum yum.
For all your AG, vet chemicals, fertilizer and bulk fuel, go to Logan and Hitchens.
Ganmain and District Sports Club, a place to celebrate and much, much more.
Ganmain Bakery and the famous Ganmain pies. If you can bake it, we make it.
Great pub accommodation and icy cold beers. Ganmain Hotel for good quality pub grub.
Ganmain News Agency, open 7 days. Lotto newspapers, the list keeps going. Need some residential or commercial renovations and roofing? Call Matt at RJS Construction.